Hello everyone, thank you for watching the video today. Today I'm going to explain a few differences between the VW Transporter models and which ones I would specifically choose if I was going to build my own camper van. So over the last 5 years that I've been converting camper vans, a lot of people ask me the same kind of questions. What specifications should I go for? What's the ideal base van? What are the differences in the engines, etc.? What would I go for? So I've decided to put all the experience that I've gained into a few different notes, and over the next few weeks and months you're going to be seeing a lot of different videos about what I've learnt and how it can benefit you if you wanted to build your own camper van. So first of all, in this first video we're going to be speaking about the actual specifications of the van and which one I would go for. If you're noticing, why is this one a bit different? Why has it got masking tape all over it? I've just stripped it down, cleaned it all off. We're in the middle of a build on this one actually, and this is our new van that we're going to be doing our instructional guide for. So if you are interested in these kind of videos and how to convert your vans yourself, etc., drop us a like and a subscribe and follow our socials as well. Please bear with me if I'm not looking directly at the camera while I'm reading some notes. There's quite a bit of information on here and I want to make sure I get it exactly right for you guys. So let's first of all start by explaining the differences in the actual names of the vehicles. So the VW Transporter has got the T5, the T5.1, the T6, and now the latest one, which is the T6.1, which is this one here. So these all indicate the variation of the vehicle related to the age and the facelift models, for example. The T6.1 is the latest model from the Transporter available, and that's where I would aim to purchase if I wanted to have the best base van for a conversion. I would always recommend planning your conversion process in detail and taking time to think about your budget and where you want to best spend the money basically. So your budget is going to dictate the best level of base van that you can aim for as well, so bear that in mind. A lot of my customers, when they come to me and they ask me how much should I be aiming to spend on a conversion, it really depends on how quickly you're looking to have it done. So if you're looking to have a camper van straight away, you're out and about without having to do the process yourself and you want to go out, then that's obviously going to cost you a bit more because it means you need to have all the money ready straight away. However, one of the best processes that I can recommend and the things that I've learned over the years is to be able to take your time with the conversion process. So try to get the best base van that you can buy with the budget and then convert it slowly if that allows it. And also it means that you can make a process, a journey out of it. It means that you can take your time, make sure you get the right thing, make sure the van is for you, and you're not going out there spending all this money straight away without knowing if it's the right thing for you guys. I view the conversion as a bit of a journey, and it's all about being able to enjoy that time together as you might be building the van. For example, if you're with a partner doing it as an adventure sort of thing, having some ideas, maybe if you want to go away in 2 years' time, start planning it now so that you've got a year or so to convert the van. One of the most important pieces of advice I can give you guys if you are planning a camper van conversion is to purchase the best base van that you can afford and to be able to then build upon that platform. You want to feel comfortable in the van when you're out and about driving. So you need to make sure you've got all the mod cons that you'd expect in everyday cars nowadays. Some of the older vehicles don't have them. So if you're looking for a new T6.1, for example, try to get the best one that allows you to have all those mod cons, such as your cruise control, aircon, infotainment systems, etc. The way I try to explain this to my customers is if you're on a budget of say £40,000, I personally would spend £30,000 of that on the van and then £10,000 on that on the initial part of the conversion. So I would aim to get the best quality parts and the absolute essentials in that first part of the conversion and then add to that budget over time. So things that are extra down the line, that can be added down the line, for example, such as exterior accessories, wheels, etc. I would do them later, and I'm trying to get the best interior conversion I can for that kind of budget at the time. However, I would bear in mind that I can add interior things on later at a later date as well. The conversion can be completed in stages and doesn't need to necessarily be completed all at once. I mean, here at Cosmic Campervans, we have lots of customers who bring the vans to us for a first stage conversion, for example, where they're having the pop-top roof, the carpet lining, the windows, sound deadening, insulation, and maybe a rock and roll bed to keep them going. But a lot of people as well, they all just have a roof and then they go on and they do the whole stage, all the rest of the conversion themselves. So it's really how handy you are and what information is out there for you to obtain to be able to do those conversion processes. I would definitely not recommend, if you've got a £40,000 budget, spending £20,000 on the base van and then £20,000 on the conversion. You don't want to be putting a really expensive high-end conversion on a lower end van, in my opinion. If you're building your own camper van, for example, and you can follow an online course and teach you how to do that, then that's going to allow you to get the best quality conversion over time and make sure you've got the best quality materials as well without spending all that money at once. So let's speak about the specifications of the vehicles available. So you've got the start line, the trend line and the high line, and that's all the way up to the T6.1. And then from the T6.1, you've got the start line business pack, and then high line. Now, if you're having a camper van, again, I would always recommend going for the high line. It means you're going to get your color-coded bumpers, you've got your multifunction leather steering wheel, infotainment system, ACC, which is the ACC, which is the adaptive cruise control, and you're also going to get front and rear parking sensors as well. On the start line VW T6.1, you're not going to get color-coded bumpers, so it's going to give you that bit more of a commercial look. And you're also not going to get aircon most likely. However, with the start line business pack, you do get aircon, and you also get a few extras on there as well. But again, if you're going for a camper van and you can afford it, go for the high line every single time. I wouldn't compromise on that if I was in that position. So on those specifications as well, for the T5 and T5.1 up to the T6, you can go for a start line, trend line and high line. Now trend lines are kind of in the middle of them, so it's not too bad of a spec to go for, but I would definitely avoid trying to go for a start line. Now the thing that you find with the start lines is they're usually going to be a 5-speed gearbox and they're going to be a low end brake horsepower. So that's going to mean it's very sluggish when you've got all your full campervan conversion in there. It means you're going to struggle going up hills. It's not going to feel nice to drive, if I'm honest with you. On a long journeys down the motorway, for example, that's going to make a difference. You find that with a high line, you're mostly going to get either a 6-speed or a DSG. So that also comes into your engine specs that we'll talk about in a second. I would also definitely recommend going for a DSG if you can afford it. If you can't, then definitely a minimum of a 6-speed, because the 5-speed does make a big difference, and most people say they're not going to notice it. Trust me, after a long drive on the motorway, you will notice not having that 6th gear. So moving on to the different kind of names as such for the vehicles, for the transporters. So there's 4 in total. You've got your standard panel van, which is it can be anything up from start line up to high line, but your panel van is just basically your seats at the front and you're going to have ply lining in the back. You're not going to have anything in the back apart from that, so it's a van. You then got the combi. So the combi is great for families. It's got 3 seats in the back. They can either be a 2+1 or a 3-seat bench. The combis have usually got a better spec than the panel vans because they've got a higher base level of specification, to be honest. You're going to have factory fitted windows, and if you're considering going for a camper van conversion and you're going to have a panel van and a combi one next to each other, and which one you're going to choose, I would always choose the panel van. Now, why is that? The combi is essentially a higher price from dealership, so you're going to be paying that higher value if you're buying it second hand or from the dealership, and all the interior parts at the rear, if you're having a full camper van conversion, you're just going to pull them out, so it's going to cost you not only time and labour to get them removed, and you're going to recuperate a small amount of money on the bench seats and the seat belts, etc. But you're not going to get the value back from those that you'd have paid for the increased value by buying a combi. So if you're going for a camper van conversion, it's better just to go for a panel van. A high specification panel van is the best one to start with. The combi is great for day vans. If you're not having like a pop top, etc. You can get combis with pop tops, who are quite popular as well. With a slide pod, for example, we've done quite a few of them. I had one of them personally as well. But I would personally say if you're having a combi, then you're going to keep it as like a sports combi, MPV, for example. So then we've got the shuttle as well. So the shuttle has got 9 seats in total, and it's more like a taxi driver's van, MPV, transporter, for example. So they are good because they've got a good amount of spec. However, I wouldn't recommend buying a shuttle if you're going to do a full camper van conversion. It can get quite complicated in the rear if you're having a pop top, for example, because the shuttle has got the air conditioning system in the rear. It can be done, and it's something that we do quite often at Cosmic, but it does mean an increased cost. And really, again, same situation with the combi, you're not going to get the value that you're paying for the extra additional rear seats, etc. out of that. So stick to a panel van if you're going for a conversion. And then the final spec is the Caravelle. So the Caravelle is the highest end spec of the transporters. You've also got the sport line on the T6.1, but the Caravelle is more your VIP, high-end MPV for carrying family around, transporting, etc. So you can get some really nice setups of the Caravel, and they're absolutely fantastic vehicles if you're just going to keep them as a van and you're going to keep it in that specification. If you wanted to convert them into a campervan, it can be done, but again, you're going to lose most of that extra, the value in the back of the van from the seating area, really. So, but usually with the Caravel, you're going to get a much higher base specification vehicle in terms of the dash. I know on the T6.1 you get the digital dash screen on that, all different infotainment systems, etc. So they do come with they do come with a bigger base specification. So one of the most common questions I get from my customers when they're choosing a van for their conversion is, what does T26, T28 or T32 for example mean? Now, that means it represents the payload of that particular vehicle. So between the four, you've got the T26, which is the lightest at 2.6 tons max vehicle weight, when you can go up to the T32 with a higher payload at 3.2 tons. So it indicates the gross vehicle weight. Although the T26 is generally seen as a lesser preferred option at its lower payload, it's quite restrictive on a campervan conversion. A typical conversion with the pop top comes in at about 2.1 tons. So, in my opinion, if I was going to convert a van, I would always aim for a minimum of a T28, because once you've added in your furniture, your rib bed, yourself, etc., and camping equipment, with the T26, you're going to be very close, in my opinion. So it's great, it's a better idea not to risk it and go for a higher rated vehicle, T28, which is the most popular, I believe, the most available. You can also go for the T32, and that one has different suspension and brakes, so it's exclusive for the high BHP models, and it's to take on the demand of carrying a higher payload safely. And due to its weight, the T32 may also fall into a MOT Class 7. So the MOT could be a little bit more expensive than usual, so just bear that in mind. But also with a T32, just bear in mind, because it's got different suspension and brakes, if you're purchasing a coilover kit or a brake setup, for example, make sure you go for the designated T32 set. And likewise, if you've got a T28 or T30, make sure you don't purchase a T32 set because you think it's going to be better, for example. It won't. It's not right. You need to get the one specifically for that model. So after you've got your T20, your T26, T32, etc., you've got your brake horsepower or PS, and a bit of recommendation here I want to give my kind of opinion on. If you're going for a lower BHP model, you're going to struggle with the campervan conversion inside the van, and you're going to notice it. It will be sluggish. I've got the 150 DSG on my personal van, and that's about perfect for me personally. Again, if I had a better choice of vehicle when I bought it, I may have gone for the 204. That is really nippy, especially with the campervan conversion in as well, so that's a great option to go for. But what these numbers mean is, if you're looking, for example, you're purchasing a van, what does 84, 102 PS, it basically indicates the engine rating, the BHP. So me personally, I would recommend that you aim for a minimum of a 6-speed with a 150 PS or 150 brake horsepower engine model. So as part of these videos and information that I'm starting to relay back to the community in the Volkswagen campervan industry and campervans in general, there's a few points that I wanted to make as really a bit of guidance to people who wanted to buy their own van. And if you're going out there and you're looking at these campervans that are fully built and you've been to a main manufacturer, like a big recognized manufacturer that might be in the industry for converting vans, there's a few things you need to look out for, and I would always recommend checking what engine spec and base vehicle that you're buying. Take out the conversion first. Don't essentially ignore it and see what is the base fan that you're buying. So is it a 5-speed? Is it an 84 brake or a 102? Is it if it's a T6.1, is it a 5-speed 110? If it is, that means that base vehicle is going to be much cheaper to buy from the dealership than it would be for one of the higher spec engines. And what that means is that you're essentially getting a lower grade quality vehicle, and that's going to affect your experience when you are out there and adventuring. So make sure you're looking at the base spec of the vehicle before you get taken away by all the glitz and glamour of the conversion that you might find inside there, because you could be purchasing a really low grade vehicle with a nice conversion in it, and that's going to disappoint you, I believe, over the long term. So how do I find out about the specs of vehicles when I'm looking for them, for example, before going to visit the dealership? So there's a few different ways I do this. So if I'm on Auto Trader, I always tend to look at the photos of the interior dash, because in one of those photos you're most likely going to find a picture of the gear stick or an indicator to say if it's a 5-speed or a 6-speed or a DSG. Now, if it's a 6-speed or DSG, that means it's a good base vehicle to start upon and you're into something pretty decent. If you were looking at a T6.1 and you've seen it at a main manufacturer with a nice conversion in it, but it's a 5-speed, I personally would stay away. The 5-speed 110 PS for this with a full conversion in it is extremely sluggish and it will make the experience terrible.
So I hope you've enjoyed listening to some of my advice and information about buying a base vehicle. And if you do have any questions or thoughts, please do feel free to drop me a comment below and I'll be happy to do some follow-up video answers based upon them. Also guys, I'm doing daily videos and updates on my TikTok, which you might find useful. So if you want to go to that, you can go to all my links in the box below and that will basically take you to my TikTok. If you have enjoyed this video and you found it useful, please do subscribe and like the video, because that basically allows you to get notified next time I'm releasing a video, and I'm going to be going through lots more tips and tricks about camper vans and how to convert them professionally in the coming videos. So thank you very much guys, and see you on the next video.